Hi there, so today I'm doing a review of the Max Factor Face Finity All Day Flawless 3-in-1 foundation. So it's meant to be a primer, concealer and foundation in one. Kind of similar to the Clinique Beyond Perfecting foundation, but I think this one came first. Now I bought this for £10 from Tesco. It was one that I'd been wanting to try out for ages because Max Factor is a very nostalgic brand to me. It reminds me a lot of my teenagers, and my mum used to use Max Factor, so therefore I used to use Max Factor. I would go in her room and I'd be looking through her makeup, so I would naturally be using Max Factor. I have an admission to make. Okay, so I am not wearing this today. The reason why I'm not wearing this today is because the shade is all wrong for me. Like, it's completely wrong. And I actually have somewhere to go today, so I couldn't really bring myself to put this on. But at the end of the video I will show you a demo of me applying it so that you can kind of see what it looks like on my face and see how it applies and everything. I have oily skin and this foundation for me did not work. It was just one of those foundations that kind of sits on your skin. I never felt like it had fully kind of settled, and it just felt pretty oily. For me, it's a light to medium coverage. I don't think that you would actually be able to build this up to being a full coverage, because I think particularly if you are oily skinned or even normal skinned by the way, I hate the phrase normal skin because it's like, well, what does that make me? Like, am I some kind of alien or something with my oily skin? Excuse me. So this is in the shade Natural, and I just found that it was extremely pink toned. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So you can see on my hand there, it's pretty thick in terms of consistency, but watch this, right? I've actually gone ahead and I put way too much on. Just dabbed a little bit off because I went a bit overboard, but I'm just going to rub it in. I'm really bad at swatches. Either I put too much on or too little on, or I just go like this. There you go, that's a swatch. Now, what do you see without me telling you first? What is it that you're noticing? Probably not too well because the lighting is not the best. But can you see that it's kind of super pink? It's probably not really showing up too well, but believe me, it's super pink. A lot of the Max Factors are super pink. They don't cater for very fair-skinned girls, which is my gripe with a lot of foundations. I'm constantly saying this. I sound like a broken record. I think that's the only issue with drugstore foundations. They have very limited shade ranges, so it's really tough to find a good match if you're at either end of the scale. So if you're very fair or very dark or even just dark, it's tough to find your shade. So as this is kind of drying down, you can see it's pink. I don't know if you can see that, but on my hand, it's pink. It just is not flattering for my skin tone. I have neutral undertones, and I can get away with a bit of a pinker toned foundation, but this is so pink. And believe me, I love pink, but it just was not complimenting me whatsoever. I'm really sorry that I'm not wearing it today, but I just couldn't. I feel like if you are more of a pink undertone kind of person, this would be worth picking up and trying. In terms of how it looked on my face, initially it looked really nice. It was a really kind of natural look. It wasn't kind of heavy or cakey looking or anything like that. Definitely more towards the kind of dewy side, I would say, as opposed to the matte side. Maybe that's just because I'm oily skinned and it just did nothing to control my oils, I'm not sure. But for me, it was definitely more of a kind of glowy foundation. It applied really nicely on the skin. I used my beauty blender to apply it. As I say, it is a medium coverage. I don't think you could build it up to being a full coverage, purely because I think it would just feel really heavy on the skin, whether you've got dry skin, normal skin, whatever. I think this is the kind of foundation that's going to kind of sit atop your skin. Atop your skin? Does that even make sense? I don't know. All in all, I was not impressed with this foundation, and for a drugstore foundation, it's more on the pricier side, so not a huge fan really, and I'm going to be giving it away probably to my mum. A way to kind of thank her for all those years when I was a teenager and I would go in and mess about with her makeup. So I think that would be like a nice kind of karmatic Karmatic. It'd be a nice thing to do. Hope that you enjoyed this little review. And okay, so stay tuned for my little demo and application, and you can see how pink my face looks. Bye. Okay, so I've got the Finity All Day Flawless just on this one side of my face, and it's not really picking up the pinkness, which is a shame, because trust me, it's extremely pink toned. Extremely. Like, I love pink. I'm loving pink, but not really on the facial area. Positive note, this foundation does apply really, really nicely onto the skin, and you can see when you compare it to my non-foundation side that it definitely has evened out my skin tone. If you look closely, you can still quite clearly see my pores through this foundation. I would definitely say it's kind of light to medium coverage. Done a good job of evening out my skin tone, and it applies nicely. They're the two positives that I'm going to say about this foundation. It's not actually a bad foundation. I just think that because I've got quite a lot of blemishes and things, crazy things going on my skin, and because, you know, I'm oily skinned, and because I'm not pink undertoned, you know, and because I'm not just pink, I just think that this doesn't really work for me. I can see that it would work for someone who's maybe more on the drier or normal skin type, and someone who's maybe pink. I'm joking. Someone who has pinker undertones. I don't want it to look like I'm making fun of people with pink undertones, because that's definitely not what I'm doing. I'm making fun of the foundation. Yes. Anyway, so it's definitely not concealer in one. I'm going to throw that out there. It's not a primer in one, and it's not concealer. It's definitely not all three. I'm just going to go like this. Smear, 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 smear. Like, it's definitely not coming off as pink, is it? It's not coming off as being pink here, but trust me, it's pink. The reason why I say that this foundation is pretty easy to apply is because you can literally just go in there with your fingers, just kind of blend it in with your fingers, and then you can just kind of go over it with your beauty blender. But I think that that makes for a really nice application. So I'm just going to use my beauty blender just to pat this out. I mean, it's not coming off as being pink, of course, so now I look like I'm just making it up. I'm definitely not making it up. I can assure you, I wanted to like this foundation. I really wanted to like it for sentimental reasons that I'm not going to start a whole digression into again. But you saw, you know, I'm very nostalgic about Max Factor, so I did want to like this. But I just didn't. I mean, I'm tempted, I'm not going to lie. If it wasn't the fact that this foundation made me super oily, then I would probably go back and try and pick a different shade just to see if I could get a shade that would suit me more. But because I feel like this foundation isn't geared towards my skin type, I just don't think there's much point. I'm just not going to be slinging around the already wet fish. I have no idea what phrase I was trying to say there. I think it was an amalgamation of 2 or 3. There's no point slinging a dead fish. Something about a dead fish, slinging it, taking a horse to water, but he's not going to drink. I have no idea what I'm trying to say right now. But anyway, so there we go. Just there we go. I'm just going to end it on there we go. I'm not going to end it on there we go, because that would not be very professional of me, would it, babes? It's not really showing it here, but close up, like when I look in my mirror, my pores are very visible. It looks super cakey on my skin. My fine lines are emphasised. It's kind of caked up around my eyebrows, and it's looking pink. It's kind of pinky orange, pink. Pinky orange. It just looks kind of cakey. I don't know. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it. And it claims to be a 3-in-1. I don't think it's a primer unless it's meant to, like, I don't know. I just don't know what it's getting at when it says 3-in-1. Because it's not concealer. I've got something really annoying on my lips right now. It's not a primer, not concealer, and the foundation is meh at best. There's a group of youths who have just congregated on the corner there, and it's kind of distracting me right now. They're up to no good. I have no idea what's going on. Are you one of those people like me? You just need to watch and you're super nosy. That's me. I'm super nosy woman. Anyway, so I'm going to go now. There was my little demo. I know right now it's kind of looking like it's kind of pale on my skin. Or like it's too light for my skin. It's not. It's definitely pinky toned. It's just my camera is not picking this up well. But can you see how it's caking around my eyebrows here? It's emphasising my pores. And look at my fine lines. This is not a good situation. Anyway, I'm going to go now. That's my little review of this foundation. If you like it, great, fabulous, just not for me. Anyway, I'll be back soon with more reviews. Thank you as always for watching, and bye bye.